So today I wanted to talk about obviously landing pages. That's the topic of the day. And thought it would be good to maybe walk through an actual example while illustrating the different elements that you would include in a landing page in order to get more people to say yes to your offer. Now, if it's a free offer or a paid offer, it's still the same. And you do have to earn their trust to get them to opt into something that's free, but you might not have to do all the elements. We're going to go through a little checklist of 20 things that make a really great landing page. I also have some notes for you, and I'm going to give the 20 things that you would need. Also, you will have access to, there's a copywriting guide, some swipe files and templates. If you are a new Moo user, it's in our success kit, but it really gives you a great overview of what the copywriting basics, but also helps your skills with fill in the blanks headlines and different copy elements that make it a lot easier to start working with it. You guys have heard me talk about these swipe files before. These are basically the swipe files I made for myself many years ago. I would print them out. I would keep them with me all the time when I'm writing, because as I don't do it anymore, now I'm just used to it and have different methods of doing it, but it really helped a lot. So when you do download the notes, you'll see a link to that. You'll also see links to the example landing page that I'm giving you. You guys can actually use that as a template if you want, or you can grab our fill in the blanks template as well, and that will be in your notes for you. So my goal is to really empower you and make it easy to create these landing pages. And we're going to demonstrate inside New Moon. And obviously, if you don't use New Moo, then what I cover will still make perfect sense. You can still create landing pages like this using the tools that you're accustomed to using. So this is actually an example based on one of our done for you courses that we provide to you guys if you're in the Platinum membership. And it is our big courses that include the guidebook, the journal, the workbook, 7-day challenge, checklist, all that stuff. So it's just an example. And that's why I made it using that, because if you already have this content, you can always use this page and you can customize it and make it more personal to you. So I think the real thing that you need to think about when you get started, we are asking a question, we're tired of rushing, reacting, or falling off the habit wagon. And the headline says, build a morning routine that actually sticks and sets the tone for a better day. This self-paced toolkit gives you the tools to create grounded, energizing mornings that support your goals, even if you're tried and failed before. When you get started writing a landing page, you really do want to think about the mindset of the person who is going to want to have your product or opt into your free thing, sign up for your course, become a coaching client, whatever it is. And you want to speak to that right away. Headlines are the most important thing, right? Because it's the first thing they see and it needs to grab attention. And in this case, we're thinking people who are interested in a better morning routine, or maybe people who find the morning chaotic and find it difficult and they want to have something else to help them. So the first component is definitely the intention getting headline. And it grabs your audience right away. You want to grab them, get their attention. What is going to get them to pay attention? And it's really just the headline's job to capture their interest. Not necessarily sell them on the whole thing, but get them wanting to engage more and learn more. And when you think about landing pages too, a lot of people say these long pages, do you really need to do them? Because this is actually not super, super long, but a fairly long page. Can you give out too much information? Yeah, if it's not relevant. But if you're incorporating all these elements that I'm going to talk about and giving you the blueprint for, then you're giving people the information that they need to make a decision. And if you lay it out nicely, on something like this, where it's easy to read, the eye is drawn into appropriate places, there's a lot of space, right? It's true that most of your prospects aren't going to read every single word, but when they can scroll through and find what they want to know, then you've got a great page. I don't think you can give out too much information if it all has this purpose of highlighting the problem, letting them know what you're offering, the benefits of that, allowing them to picture what life will be like when they complete using the product, then you've got something good going. In this case, we did a little pre-headline that asks question, then a larger headline that shows the big benefit. And this subheadline gives them a little bit of information about what they can expect here. Toolkit is a great, powerful word. And when you download those swipe files, if you don't have them already, they're in those notes I shared with you. You'll have some power words in the swipe files. There are things like simple things like free or things that create an impact. And I think when you're talking about products, toolkit is another word. It's a power word because it's better than ebook. Ebook is boring. And toolkit, you're just putting together some printables and you've got a toolkit. So think about things like that. And then obviously we have the eye-catching image or visual. So the mock-up, this is from when we sell it as PLR. So you can think about that too. Think about your customer. If they want a simple solution, maybe showing them everything like this might be a bit too much. But if you're trying to really stack the value and show what's included, then an image like this would work very well. So then we go into it's essentially a letter. You're writing a letter to this person because you're probably going to sign it at the bottom. Having your picture there and who you are will help you sell better. So we started this out with Dear Future Morning Warriors. And it starts by really empathizing with the person and really helping them highlight the problem, maybe letting them know it's not really their fault, but that you've got an answer for them. So here we say, you already know your mornings matter. You've probably read the advice, wake up early, drink water, move your body, meditate, journal, eat something green, don't touch your phone, etc. And maybe you've even tried a few good days here and there, a new planner, a different app, the podcast episode that you fired up for a little while, but somehow your routine never sticks. Life gets busy. The alarm gets snoozed. You fall out of rhythm. And just like that, it's back to rushed mornings, scrolling before coffee and feeling behind before the day even begins. So it even creates like an image of something that people can relate to. This toolkit was created for you, not to pile on more pressure or tell you there's only one right way to do mornings, but to help you build a routine that actually works for your life. So empowering them as well. A routine that feels good, one that you look forward to, one that anchors your day and gives you a sense of calm, clarity, and control before the chaos can take over. So that is the kind of the empathetic introduction that I was mentioning and is one of the points. And then the next part here is about the solution starts here and it's simpler than you think. And it gives a little hint into what is included and why it was created. The copy says, I know how hard it is to start the day when your brain is foggy, the house is noisy, and your to-do list is already yelling at you. As someone who's helped thousands of people build better habits and routines, I created this toolkit to make mornings easier without perfection, pressure, or 5 a.m. alarm. And then another point. Here we're going to get into point 5 of including in your landing pages. We want to talk about features and benefits. There's a difference between those things. And if you've done copywriting study, you should know about this. And it's always a good reminder. Features are the things that your product includes, what they get. So the features are this quick action guidebook, the workbook and checklist. But benefits are what they get from that. And that's what this list here says. Join us today and you'll discover why your struggle to stick with a morning routine has nothing to do with willpower, and how to create a structure that supports you and not stresses you out. The 4 key areas of a well rounded morning, and how to include just 1 or 2 habits from each for powerful results. So it's giving also a sneak peek into what's in, but it leaves them wondering. It piques the curiosity. So that's a really great skill also to develop when writing bullet points like this. And bullet points are great on landing pages because it gives you a chance to make a list of things that will relate to that person. It's easy to skim. So if some of the points don't really resonate with them, that's okay because there are more there. So next up, we dug into more features and benefits, right? We broke it down into 4 sections. We made it nicely laid out visually, easy to hone into the stuff that will interest them. And each section also includes the benefit of those components. So for the guide, break free from all or nothing thinking and finally make progress, even if you've struggled with routine before. Use your mornings to reduce anxiety, improve focus, and build emotional resilience. No strict schedules required. Avoid decision fatigue by turning simple actions into automatic habits. So that's on all these 4 sections. Same kind of thing. It has the details about each component. They can skim it, they can read it, they can see the benefit of everything. Another thing you would like to include visual proof or demonstration. If a video is appropriate for showing what your product or offering does, this includes visuals that make the digital product seem more tangible and real. It is real, it's just a digital format, but it has images which also draw the eye in to the copy. So you're getting the attention of people, and they are also seeing that it's a real tangible thing, even if they don't ever print it. You can also do before and after results, maybe too, if that applies to you. If it's some kind of weight loss product or something that teaches someone how to improve health, right? Before and after pictures and stuff like that. And this kind of stuff help eliminate doubts and reduce friction for people who are more visual. So you've told them what there is, and then it would be tempting on a paid product to just go and say, okay, go ahead and buy it. I've told you what there is. But you probably need to give them more reasons to join. You could add bonuses. I don't think I put bonuses. Yeah, I think we didn't do the bonuses on here. Actual relevant bonuses that go with the actual product, not just things that you're throwing in there just to add something. Maybe even like in a product like this, some of this would be held back and presented as a bonus. The 7-day challenge maybe could be a bonus. And you can create urgency, which is going to be one of the things we're going to talk about shortly, in that maybe they only get that bonus for a limited amount of time. So when I was saying more reasons to join, right? You're still continuing the conversation. Imagine this, like this is a letter. We said it's a letter, but also imagine you're just talking to this person. So you do need to continue the conversation. You told them what's there, but encourage them. In this case, we have, you don't need a perfect morning. You just need a starting point. Change doesn't happen all at once, and it doesn't have to look perfect. The real shift begins with one small intentional step and the willingness to keep going even when life gets messy. That's exactly what the morning routine toolkit is here to help you to do. If you're ready to stop waking up in chaos, stop restarting from scratch, and finally build a morning routine that fits your life, not someday, but today, this is your moment. So if you're also watching this and you're thinking, Alice, this is good writing and I don't really write. And obviously the copywriting swipe files that we gave you and the guidebook is going to help you improve those skills, and they will come with time. But you also have ChatGPT at your disposal. And I will tell you that much of this was created working with ChatGPT. Now, if you were to go to ChatGPT right now and say, I have a product and I've got this guide and I've got the workbook and journal and planner, now write me something, it's not going to come out Great. But if you take this template and you tell it everything that's in your product, you can create something like this. So if your product has different components and you have text, you share all the components of your product with ChatGPT so they know what's inside whatever tool you like. I like ChatGPT. You give them the content, you paste it right in there. I have heard that uploading files and stuff, it may not read it as well, but I think that maybe has improved. But I just paste it right into the chat. Doesn't matter if it's messy when it looks there, it gets a sense of what's included. And then you can take this sales page and you can even tell it. And I do have the fill in the blanks version of this as well. So you could either do that or you could just say, I have this sales page. We're going to work on this section and I need you to adapt it to my product. And it can just adapt it and it can draw in these things. It can create these bullet points for you. And it becomes pretty easy. Obviously, you're going to have to read everything, review it, make sure that it's reflecting exactly what you have, because you do have to make sure sometimes it makes stuff up. But there's no reason you can't be a great copywriter if you have the templates handy and you've also got an assistant at your side as well. But again, through practice and when you're reading through it, you're going to learn through the process as well. So we also have a FAQ here. An FAQ is an easy, skimmable way for you to overcome a lot of the objections. Maybe even the answers, some of these things are already elsewhere on the page, but this is an easier way for them to find it. So how is this different from a course or habit? Which is a great question, right? Because you already are relating to somebody who's probably bought courses, who's already bought a bunch of apps, and they're like tired of this because nothing is really working. So this shares how it's different. Will this work if I'm not a morning person? Obviously, great question, right? Everyone has to get up at some time, so they need some kind of routine. But will it work if you don't like waking up early? You know, when people say, oh, all the successful people wake up at the crack of dawn or sooner and get their day started right away. But not true. I am an early riser myself, but I know that it works differently for people. What exactly do I get when I join? And we actually say this a few times. We say it up here, right? We do tell them exactly. And we also recap the offer over here. We tell them over and over. There's one thing I've noticed when I'm reviewing sales pages, a lot of the time, it's not really clear what they're getting. You want there to be no questions and for people to fully understand. And when you got a writing assistant helping you like ChatGPT, it makes it a lot easier. No excuses for rushing through and making something that isn't going to get the results that you want. It says, how long will it take to see results? You start noticing shifts right away, even small changes like creating a 5-minute routine, setting your space up the night before, etc. What if I tried morning routines before and I failed? Is there a guarantee? And obviously, if you offer a money back guarantee, you will often get more sales up front and it can certainly help. I'm super busy right now. Should I wait? This is a great one because a lot of people who are overwhelmed feel like they don't have time to figure out how to stop feeling overwhelmed. This bullet point would probably fit into a lot of different products. You just would need to adapt it. It says, actually, that's the perfect time to start. The morning routine toolkit is designed for busy seasons with flexible tools, short challenges, and structure that meets you where you are. You don't need hours. You just need a few quiet minutes and a plan that supports you. And then we have the next thing that we do want to include in a landing page is testimonials, right? So we got a little testimonial section. I didn't feel, because I'm giving you guys this template, I didn't want to write fake testimonials there in case someone forgets to change them because they're not real. So they're just the gibberish. But when you're talking to your customers and you're asking them for feedback, you want them to give really concrete things. Ask them how they use the product and what differences they notice, as opposed to, this was really great. I loved it. I will come back for more. You want someone who will say, I used the journal and right away after completing a few days, I realized that I was falling behind on this or whatever. And Obviously, you still want your customers to give real true feedback, but you can ask them questions. How did you use the product? What were the results? What did you like most about it? Why? You also don't want to overwhelm them when you ask them, but you do want to make it easy for them to give you feedback. So when you ask them specific questions, it makes it easier for them and they can just fill out the ones we want. I usually ask maybe 2 or 3 questions and that's it. And that's another point too. When you are selling products, set up a form that you give out readily to people after they've used your product, where they can find it maybe on their members download area. Maybe it's in a follow-up email and you can send them there so that they can submit their feedback. And I think a great way to do it is to just say that you're looking for all feedback because people appreciate that. Because maybe there are people who have some reservations about what they got. So you ask them to provide you with feedback and you can say that for their time, you'll give them a little something. So when you create a form, if you use Numu and then it goes to a thank you page, you could put a little downloadable gift there, something that would be relevant that they would like, or a coupon or something like that. And they get that regardless of what kind of feedback they get. It's not required that they give you a testimonial, it's feedback. But on your form, you can also have a little checkbox. You could say that we're interested in also sharing feedback, but we want to hear everything. And then a checkbox that says, do you give permission for us to share your feedback? Then you can ask for a photo if they're willing to do that and if they're allowed to use their full name. That can be the whole process, right? Where you're getting critical feedback that helps you maybe improve your product and your offer as well, but also testimonials that you can then publish. When you build it into your ordering process or your customer follow-up process, then you're consistently collecting them and making it easy for yourself to have lots of testimonials to publish. You'll notice that each section, for people who are actually reading along, it leads them from one section to another. We did the FAQ that says you can also hear from some of our satisfied students and what they think. And then it leads into the testimonials. I didn't do that here as much because the way it's laid out, it doesn't really offer that transition point. But again, now you've given testimonials, but now you've got to get to this call to action. You want to have that. You don't want to just slap the order button on the page at the bottom and say, okay, get it. You want to give them more reasons. You want to let them see the value. You might want to incorporate some sense of urgency and also justify the price. You can do it as a comparison if they were to buy other solutions, or maybe it's a do-it-yourself solution, how much it would cost to buy fully done for you. They're saving a lot of money that way. Or maybe what you teach them actually literally saves them money in the long run. Maybe they're doing things inefficiently and that once they have your system or whatever it is, they will be able to do it more efficiently and save money, or maybe you help them make money. So always including a price justification is good. So this kind of incorporates getting towards the call to action and also doing that price justification. And let's take a peek at it. So it says real support, real change without the overwhelm or breaking the bank. You don't need another program that sits unfinished or a complicated system that falls apart after 3 days. You need something that's clear, doable, and built for life, whether you're juggling family, work, self-care, or just trying to start your day without stress. The Morning Routine Toolkit was created to help you stop overthinking and start building better mornings, one small, meaningful step at a time. And you can get instant access today for just $27, less than the cost of a single coaching session or a day or two of your favorite takeout habit. Because real momentum doesn't have to be expensive, and you shouldn't have to wait for the right time to start feeling better. That sounds like the kind of support you've been looking for. Let's get started the right way. And then here is the offer recap. Like I said, it's always important to remind them what's included, even if you've said it above, to say it again right before they decide, because it gives them a chance to make sure. A lot of times people are like, I'll join, but I don't exactly know what I'm getting. What is this? You'll notice the way this is written, it shows the features, it shows the guidebook, the workbook, and the checklist. But the descriptions of each show some benefits. A focused, easy to follow guide to help you understand what's been keeping your mornings off track and how to shift into a routine that supports your energy, focus, and well being. Then we have the order button. We have a price. So we have more sense of urgency with a limited time offer using a countdown timer, and also the money back guarantee that you can offer there. That does give, especially people who don't know you yet and stuff, that will give them that sense of confidence to want to order. And then again, I still don't stop there. So yes, that order button is here, but you're going to have people be like, okay, they're just going to keep going. They're like, I don't know. And then there's some more invitation, encouragement, perhaps building more urgency. And it's a letter again. So you want it to look that way, like you're communicating with this person. It says you don't need to keep second guessing your routine or waiting for the right time to figure it out. The truth is, you already want mornings that feel better. You just need the support, structure, and encouragement to make it easier to follow through. That's exactly why I created the morning routine toolkit, to give you a starting point that feels doable and not overwhelming, and to help you build momentum one step at a time. And then there is the sign off with the photo. I do recommend you put your picture out there, let people see who's behind this. And PSs at the bottom here are perfect for grabbing people at the last moment. You can put a couple of PSs, one that may be to create that sense of urgency here. The longer you stay stuck in the same morning patterns, the harder it feels to shift, right? So they're like, you're agitating the problem, creating urgency for it. And then the second one here, you don't need a complete life overhaul, just one clear supportive step, encourages them how simple. It's not complicated. It's easy for them to get started. So that can grab somebody. And often, yeah, like people will scroll down to see the price and go to the bottom. So you want to have a little something that draws them back. You could also, if it's a limited time offer, use your PSs to do that as well. And then we just have another last quick call to action at the bottom of the page. Now, I went through the sales page and I didn't keep up with my checklist. So I look at my notes here and make sure that we covered stuff, and I can go back to where it is in the page and hope that's all making sense for you guys. So we did talk about the price justification, the guarantee, the risk reversal. We have the call to action. We have the FAQ we talked about, and social proof and testimonials. You can also get videos and different things, or screenshots of if you have a conversation with your customer. You could ask if you can screenshot it. That makes it look a little more like, it gives it more real feeling to it. Obviously, if they submit it to you and you lay it out on something like this, that's still real, but it gives it a little bit more different kind of credibility. We often would ask people in our Facebook groups for feedback and stuff. And then we just screenshot the comments, and that shows the person's name. It has their photo. And so it created that sense of reality. So then there's also trust and safety indicators. So, the payment processor logos, they say they create some more sense of trust, and secure checkout, which would happen when they go and click and check out. If you're doing an opt-in, you can say that you include your privacy policy and how you don't share their emails and things like that. And we did the sign off, the PS sections, and skim friendly formatting. That's what we talked about. So I think we got through all of them. And I think that the checklist that have the 20 points and all the extra links and stuff for you will really guide you through the process of using this template, or doing it from scratch if you prefer, and also gave you some ideas on how to create this copy for yourself. Make sure you use those AI tools that are available to you. Even if you just brainstorm, maybe you're like, I don't want AI to write it for me, but they can brainstorm. So you can put in your content and you can say, this is my product. What do you think the main benefits of this are? And you want to write it yourself, then write it yourself. Definitely it gets easier with practice. And when you have a format that you follow and those 20 points that remind you of things that you need to include. So you can write your whole page, you can refer back to the notes and see, did I cover this? Can I incorporate this? And if you incorporate it, you will likely get a better result from the sales page. So I will wish you a good day and I hope this was helpful and take care, everybody.